Woohoo! And we're live once again on another Tuesday, and I have a guest and dear friend in the house. We have Zoomed many times before, and she is here live today talking with us. Do. So Susan Rooks rocks. Go ahead and introduce yourself, and we'll get stuck in with our topic today.
All right. I'm Susan Rooks. I'm known as the Grammar Goddess, a name that was given to me, oh boy, probably 30 years ago in a corporate training situation. And I thought, woo, alliteration. It's funny. It's kind of weird, but it's funny. And I liked the funny part. So I kept it.
I love it. I love it. And I used to be the Google goddess. I probably still am, but I haven't been using it as much. So when the Google goddess meets the grammar goddess, we got a lot of alliteration going on.
I know
we
it's
have
marvelous.
and we have funny and we have, serious all at the same time. So it's kind of cool. So let's hop into our topic today, which is how to shine on LinkedIn. And it's a great topic. It's a great topic. And before we started talking today, we started talking backstage, and we were talking about how we love LinkedIn. We love the internationalness of it all, that we're in separate parts of the country, but we became friends. We became friends when I was living abroad. So we became friends when I was in Israel. We have lots and lots of shared wonderful connections and people that we know from all over the world. And we were just talking about how it is amazing that it's just this huge worldwide community, and yet it feels very intimate because it's kind of like Cheers, it's like everybody knows your name. And we were talking about Jeff Young. So Jeff Young, if you're out there, burning ears, we were talking about you in a very kind way. And we were talking about how you got into LinkedIn very early, around the same time as Jeff. So can you kind of repeat that, Susan? Because I thought that was really interesting how you talked about that.
Well, thanks. Yes, I was one of the early adopters, even if I didn't have the faintest idea what I was doing. But then again, almost no one did. Jeff Young, and folks, Jeff Young, you want to remember the name, you want to go find him, you want to follow him. He came in 2004, believe it or not. I came in 2005, October of 2005. Why? Because someone said, Susan, you should do this new thing called LinkedIn. Okay, I'll go do this, whatever you say. I've sat there, Gillian, probably for 5 years, dabbled. I had no instructors. LinkedIn was so new that there was no real organized that I'm aware of to help newbies, because we were all pretty much newbies, all 500 of us or whatever. We didn't really know how to handle it. And then probably 5 years after that, 10 years, 2014, oh my gosh, a guy named John White, MBA, a good buddy who's become a client, a good buddy, a great friend, found me because his mother's an English teacher and he loved the Grammar Goddess shtick. And he said, Susan, let me tell you how to make it work, at least, and with it 10 years ago now. I had no idea, but I said, okay, John, whatever you say, John. And I think I went from maybe 500, 700 to maybe a couple of thousand followers and thought, whoa, damn, I'm good. It stalled for a while, then it came back, but I'm grateful that somebody took me under his wing, and which is why we're saying how to shine on LinkedIn. Because you, I, John, Jeff, and then John Aspiri, and some of us who know something about LinkedIn see a lot of client people who aren't doing it right. They're just holding a place. They're not really using it to most advantage. And that's a darn shame, as I learned finally, thanks to John.
Yes. And I remember when I first got started on LinkedIn, doing it seriously, not just when I first started. Because when I first started, I was one of those roaming around, not knowing what to do and doing it all wrong. But I found John Aspirian, and that's what leveled me up and began learning everything. And I remember a lot of people were asking me, who should I follow? Like who they were on LinkedIn, but they were like, I don't like what I see in my newsfeed. So I did this series, and I think I did like 10 or 15 videos called Follow the LinkedIn Leader. And you were number one. And you were number one in my series. And I remember doing that. And honestly, Susan, I loved that you were light and laughter and just, I loved that energy, because at the time I went, I didn't know you could do that on LinkedIn. I didn't know you could have a Friday fun day, and and it was just, the content that you put out there made me realize that, this can be anything goes. It's not just about, serious posts about how to do a particular thing. So how did you even stumble into that kind of lightening up on LinkedIn? How did that even come to be?
I don't know exactly because again, it's about 10 years ago now. I know that John White was a part of it because he said 5 days a week, I want you to post something. Oh, like what? He said, well, you're a grammarian, you're the grammar goddess. That there is nothing more deadly and dull than grammar. Come on, John,
Mm.
really? What the heck am I going to say to people about grammar? He said, no. Okay. We came up with a Monday topic, a Tuesday, a Wednesday, a Thursday. And he said, and you know what you can do? You could end with something funny.
Hmm.
Now, this is in the days when LinkedIn was, as you said, deadly
Very
serious.
serious.
We are
Very serious.
professionals. We don't laugh at professionals. We don't laugh at company. I mean, it was not the same, but it's an okay way to start. And I thought, well, I didn't do the Friday thing very well because I wasn't sure how to. And I don't remember the exact way I figured it out. But once I got it, that's the one that has survived the 10 years. Because I know I had a Monday. Tuesday tricksters, that was homophones. Those words that sound alike, like it's, and your, but
Mm.
they don't spell the same, and they surely don't mean the same thing. Wednesday words, I kind of revived that recently. Thursday thoughts, something like that. And Friday fun day. The first four basically fell away. I've redone them and brought them back. But the Friday fun day grabbed me by the throat, the heart, everything, and just went, what do we have fun? And you've seen it. I've changed it now to a slide deck because on Fridays, I had 8 or 10 pictures, but nobody ever went into the article. They just saw the top one and thought, I love that. That what? That wonderful picture. There are 10 more. Slide decks seem to make it easier for people to understand. You click on that little right side, the carrot, little
Yep.
black box and then you see the rest. But the bottom line is I collect them. I sometimes use a theme. It could be cats, dogs, people, older, younger, whatever I seem to have a bunch of. And I think it works for me, especially because my profession is editing.
Mm.
And any author who's taken a piece of writing to an editor always goes with, he's gonna hate it. What if he hates it? Oh my God, what am I gonna do? He's gonna hate it. They're afraid. I don't want people to be afraid of me. I want them to understand I'm a collaborator. I love laughing. Life's too short, Gillian, not to laugh when you can. It's too grim. It's too, I love it. So the Friday Fun Day grabs me, and it would seem by the people that comment, and that's the other piece of shining on LinkedIn, commenting. The people who comment are almost always funnier because they're coming to it like this. I'm not creating anything. I'm showing you things other people showed. They go in and go, oh, brr, and they write it. I get, oh my God, that is so wonderful. And other people see it and everybody gets another extra laugh. Why not?
I love it. And it's so true because I don't think we laugh enough. I think you look at kids laugh and laugh. They're so silly, and we don't spend enough time laughing. So that's why I really enjoy your posts. And there's always one that I kind of like, I download and I send, I'll show it to my husband or something like that, because it's just a way of kind of sharing a little bit of positivity. And it's so helpful. It's so helpful. So you learned LinkedIn, and you are very good because you actually give back by teaching LinkedIn, and you do that for Chamber of Commerce. And who is it? Nonprofits? Who are you doing LinkedIn stuff for?
I've mainly done it for nonprofits and chambers are nonprofits.
Chambers. Okay.
I'm willing to certainly do it for anybody. You could host one. I don't have a paid Zoom account. Even if I did, it's pretty hard to teach the topic, get the slides up, and then run whatever it is you're doing today that I know zero about. Nothing, zero, that much. So I'm always looking for entrepreneurs or a small company that says, we have a Zoom thing. We would host it for you. It's 1 hour. It's free. FREE. It's my favorite 4-letter word. And yes, that's exactly what I just said, people. Yes, I did. Because I want to give back. I'm grateful for the people like Jeff Young, who gives back every time he puts out an article, every time he puts out a LinkedIn, what's the name of it? LinkedIn for all levels of experience, something like that. I don't care. He is about as good as you get. Human, smart, kind, nice. And I've been learning from him for the last 5 or 6 or 7 years. So when I give it, it's a slide presentation. It's a PDF thing. Well, that's the way it turns out. And it's all about, are you filling it out correctly? Do you have
your profile? So it's all the profile basics.
It's 2 halves. One is physically the profile, the banner, your picture, your headline, your activity, all of that stuff. And the other half of it is, well, me being dear Ann Landers, dear somebody who gives advice. The second half is the shining part, because I see a lot of people who aren't being smart. They're not being kind. They're not giving value. For instance, in a comment, I've seen many people say, look at what I do. Follow me. Click here. This is all about me. And the author of the piece is getting nothing, no value.
They're almost hijacking the post.
Yeah. And over time, if you do it enough, a lot of people start saying, I wouldn't follow that person if I were paid to, because this person doesn't get it. Our comments really should be, Gillian, wow, that second paragraph, when you said blah, 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 you blew me away. Something positive, strong, and deliberate. And then Gillian, you think, I like her. Maybe I'll go look at her profile and see who she is. And that's how I've gotten over 60,000 followers. Because
that's a huge amount.
Well, all right. You think, I think. Leslie Osborne, another name I'm going to throw out here. The dog whisperer lady in Florida.
She's amazing. Amazing.
How many did she have? Something close to 280,000 followers. She keeps me in my place. I look at her number and think, whoa, wow. But yeah, the 60 dribs and drabs, I get people, they think, yeah, it'd be fun to follow. It's because I've learned through some trouble that this is how it has to be. Positive, uplifting, have some fun. You can take your work seriously, but I don't think we can take ourselves seriously. Not that way.
I agree. And I think the fact that someone follows you and someone follows someone like Leslie is that it's people are looking for positive content. We're looking for something that uplifts us because, you look around and it's like, sometimes the news is pretty drab, like what's going on in the world. And, and I think especially maybe during the pandemic, when things got really dark in the world, people were looking for something, it's kind of like we're in the cold and we just want to get ourselves warmed by a little fire. And I think when you put uplifting content that is, like you don't have a motive. Like there's no, now buy my $20,000 course at the end. It's like, people know that you're a book editor. They know that this is what you do. This is how they can work with you. But it's like not every piece of content is, going to be buy my stuff. And by the way, I do also love all your grammar stuff. And I always love that's a word. I like those are also my favorite kind of posts too, because it's like I love to laugh, but I also like to learn. And I can win some Scrabble games following you.
Well, if you can, the short ones for certain. I did that because the other half of it is too many people are out there selling themselves. And yes, I'm having fun with what I do in the morning. Every morning you get one meme. Every Friday you get a dozen. Good. Rarely is it about grammar. Once in a while, if I find a bunch, I can't help it. The afternoon isn't about grammar exactly, but it is helping somebody learn a word they might. The latest one was phatic, P-H-A-T-I-C. I had never seen it written that. I've always seen emphatic, which for anyone listening has no relationship to phatic. Darn it. And you can go find it on my That's a Word page. Hashtag That's a Word. It should, but it doesn't. The roots of both are completely different. I learned. And I put words out that 99% of the time, Gillian, I have never in my life seen. I get
Wow.
I get Merriam-Webster's word of the day, I get dictionary.com's word of the day, and I get Word Genius word of the day. And every now and then one just jumps up and says, use me, please use me. And I do.
Wow.
I like people laughing, but you see, it's not selling me. It's just reminding you I exist, but so what? There's something like 850 million profiles currently on LinkedIn. I'm hearing something from, I think John Asperian, God love him and his numbers, something like 8 to 10% are actually using LinkedIn.
That's
So
amazing.
get on there and decide you're going to be active. It does no good to have a placeholder. When LinkedIn writes, so-and-so hasn't posted lately, as often means, last time I checked, it could be up to a year. You put it out there and you walked away.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not going to bring you business.
Plus, I
Active
think there's even something now where if you don't post for like, maybe it's over a year, I can't remember the date, but I remember I went to somebody's profile who I personally knew, and I said, I don't see your content anymore. And they said, what do you mean? And it's like, if you go too long without posting, you have no activity at all. So it's like all of a sudden when you're going to come back and play on LinkedIn, you're almost going to be starting from scratch. And it doesn't matter if you have, 20,000 followers. If people have stopped engaging with you, it's like you're standing in an empty room.
Yeah. And every now and then I'll even go to my own and see. I had yesterday, and it happens regularly. I must, obviously, I pissed somebody off. 60,000, we're going to say N72. This morning I looked, it was 60,070. It's like, wait, whoa.
2 people unfollowed.
I'm sure it happens to everybody's. If you check, I check that stuff because I'm curious. How am I doing? I want to know, but without obsessing. But it was 2 fewer than yesterday.
Wow. Wow.
Of course, I think I'm over. But Gillian, LinkedIn to me, and we were talking about earlier, I've got international clients. I had to look up a couple of countries on a map because I wasn't totally certain I even knew where they were. Lord Almighty. I love the reality. I mean, okay, for everybody who wonders, I am 76 years old. Okay.
Years young.
Going on 60. I grew up in a world that had Buck Rogers and Space Cadets. And this whole world of LinkedIn and the internet is a marvel, an absolute marvel that I can talk to you across our country, but I can talk to a publisher in Canada, an author in Croatia. I can talk to people in the Middle East. I've had a couple of clients there. It's like, wow, LinkedIn works. But we need to make sure that we're there. Even 15 minutes a day would be better than nothing. So
I agree.
For me to shine, it takes some work. But then again, I work from home. Editing is lucky. I can work on the computer. And just so you know, it's not just book editing. I like blogs. I do podcast transcriptions.
I saw that. That is that a relatively new service for you?
Yeah.
That's very cool.
It's a very different one, and I'm very conscious right now of how I'm speaking because the first thing I end up taking out of most of them when I see them, they've been transcribed by an artificial thing. Well, gee, gee, ha, what? We all do it. But when it's going to be in written form, you can't have the word the 18 times in a row. And so I'm thinking now, it's hard not to. It really is.
It is. It is. And you're right that nowadays with the podcast, they can be repurposed for blog articles on your website or LinkedIn articles or newsletters or so many different things. So it's just like, it's content. It is good content. It is good content. So should we take some comments and questions because they are, there's a bunch. Okay. So we have the fabulous Jeff Young. I know he hauled it because I know he had a prior commitment today and he didn't think he was going to be here. But front row, he's there. Hello, Gillian and Susan, 2 of my favorite LinkedIn ladies. Leaders, always dedicated, inspiring, everything special. He's a sweetheart. We just absolutely love Jeff Young. Namaste. We have Diana. Yes, yes. We have Diana coming in from YouTube. Hi, Gillian and Susan. What a great topic. I am so glad I was able to catch you live today. And that's, again, another part of this. Like, we go to LinkedIn, we go to YouTube. It's like the reach that we get is just amazing. And oh, speaking of Leslie, here she is.
Yes. That's Leslie, the dog lady. Oh my gosh. If you need any help about your dog, whether you have them, whether you want to adopt them, older, younger, whatever, you do want to talk to Leslie because this is her world. I know where a semicolon goes. She knows how to help you with dogs. And it's wonderful what she does.
She's amazing. And she has a book coming out soon. So,
oh, she's fabulous.
Excellent. Excellent. Hello from Allison in Metro Detroit. So Jeff will help her or him or her. Jeff will help this person because there are settings so that you don't show up as a blank head on LinkedIn because we don't know who you are. And it's sad because it's kind of like you show up to the conversation, but it's like you're invisible. We can't quite see you, which is always so sad. So we know that, oh, there's Jeff, double comments. Sometimes we get the double comments, which is really interesting. We have Marcia. Hello, Gillian and Susan. Thanks for this episode. It's needed. It is needed. And I think that is absolutely true, that it's like we need more positivity. We need more positive. And and it doesn't just have to be laughter. It's really what lights you up. Fine, because it's like, I know all of a sudden, boom, names go out of my head whenever I'm trying to think of somebody. But there's a connection I have. It'll come to me in the middle of the night now. And she says, books light her up. And books light me up too. And every week, she talks about a book that she's read, a book that she's reading, and she shares it. And of course, that is going to resonate for other people who also like books. So sometimes it feels like you might be saying, oh, it's such it's so niche or niche, as the Europeans like to say it.
To me, it's niche.
But if you think about it, it's like you might think, oh, well, not everybody likes books, but who cares? If you like books, if that lights you up, talk about it. If dogs light you up, if cats light you up, humor, right? Whatever. Right? Whatever.
I'm glad Marcia put how to say her name, because my mother's name was Marcia, spelled the same way. And so it's very important that if her name is pronounced Marcia, that we see that. Very good for her to do.
That was very good for her because her name being said correctly lights her up. So that's important. That's important. So we have hi to everyone here from Leslie. Okay, Allison. Oh, so I guess Jeff knows who that is. What's happening? Okay, so we have a nice meeting. We have Abul. He says it's a nice meeting. LinkedIn ladies, more alliteration. Jeff is so great for, he could be the grammar god. We could almost call him a grammar god because
No, you are not calling him the grammar god.
Okay. Where in the world is John Asperian? What is he cooking today? He's always up to something, cooking something. He's always great. He's always great. I'm here and I seem to have lost my way. Greetings. Thank you for this conversation. Thank you for this conversation. Hello, Gillian and Susan and Jeff, everyone. Okay, it's about dinner time in the UK, so maybe John Asperian is still refueling. Okay, so we have bets on where is John? Where is John? Look at that. Friday, fun day forever. So is that like just not so wonderful, Susan, to just know that it's not only lighting you up, but it's lighting up the people that you're reaching out to. And like you said, if there's somebody who doesn't want to laugh, move along because the rest of us do. So that's good. Facts, Susan.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, facts, Susan Rooks, grammar goddess. Laughter therapy is imperative. I used to have a 3 p.m. session at my previous job. That's good. There we go. Yeah. So what were you going to say, Susan?
I was going to say the ones that crack me up are the ones that make it to the the Friday fun day or whatever. I mean, there are some I look at and go, yeah, and then all of a sudden I go. That doesn't mean that you're going to also laugh. That's why I always ask, which was your favorite this week? because it might very well not be the one that I thought was the funniest. Who cares? As long as something grabbed you and you enjoyed it, my job was done with that. That's terrific.
Yes.
I
Yes.
love all like a LOL. Yeah.
So we've got Tina coming in from Belgium. Hello, hi, Gillian and Susan. So that's lovely. That's lovely. So see, we're across the pond. We are definitely across the pond. Oh, the Lord has showed up. So we've got John Asperian calling in. Lois and I are here with Poppy, and we're about to have supper. Great to see the grammar goddess. And I believe you were one of his Friday shouts, correct?
I was a year ago. I was. Yes, I am, and I was, and I am. Yay me!
Yay me!
I love you, John.
Okay, John Asperian, yay, welcome to the party. Welcome to the party. Susan, sorry, Marcia wants to connect. So Susan, let's talk about that. Let's talk about that for a minute. So when you have 60,000 followers, you also probably have a lot of connections. Have you gone close to that I can't do anymore? Where are you at?
That's the biggest mystery for a lot of people. They hear that we can't have more than 30,000 connections, and they don't understand that that means the first degree connections. LinkedIn, don't ask. They have first degree, second degree, and third degree. And then they have people that are just purely followers that don't really want to engage you, maybe for whatever reasons. I have something like 8,000 first degree connections. I still have room. But I also don't say yes to the entire world, if only because if you clearly aren't really there, I'm not even sure why you want me. If you haven't looked at my profile, why are you wanting to connect? I had that happen quite a few times. I check. I want to see, A, did you look at it? B, I'm going to go look at yours. And it's not that if it's not filled out perfectly and all that, but I want to see, are you part of this wonderful family that LinkedIn offers, or are you just doing nothing? And if honestly you're doing nothing, then you can go do nothing. And I'm not trying to be nasty here, but I love the activity. I love the energy I get back from people like you and Jeff and John and Fred. I'm going to say his name wrong. Kienle, Keneal, but I don't think it's how you say it. He's an older guy like I am. He's got the funniest way of responding to things. God bless him. So that's what I look for. Are you alive on LinkedIn? And even if you're missing a couple of bits and pieces, fine. The last thing I'd say is if you would like to host one of these 1-hour free LinkedIn programs, let me know. I just need you to have a 1-hour Zoom thing, because I don't have it, and be willing to host it. And then I would give you full credit on the first slide. I always do. Tell people, please, this is being hosted by, not me, you.
Right.
That way I can get the word out, because I only cover the basics. You want more than that? Go talk to Jeff Young or talk to John. I cover only the basics. That's all I can keep up with. And even then, Gillian, recently I just updated it. I'm doing one next week locally. And there were about 18 things that had changed in 2 months.
Wow.
Not big deal things, but I was going, okay, so we're going to do, wait a minute, that doesn't look like what I just saw on my profile. But LinkedIn, what's with you?
Yeah. But Susan, it's really important to cover these basics. So it's good that you're doing this, because I know even with video, I'll sometimes have some clients and they'll come to me and I'll say, you're not ready to be pushing out content yet, because I always tell them it's like inviting me over for dinner, but you haven't unpacked the furniture and we're standing around in an empty place. So if you don't have a banner in place, you don't have those basic details, then you don't want to start doing videos, especially people that want to do like 30 days of video. And it's like, you're not ready. You're inviting the world to come to this empty profile. So do those basics, get your picture up there, get something on the banner. Don't be that LinkedIn gray head, get your settings right, all that sort of stuff. And it can't just be your resume either.
No, and that's the other, we do cover that, the reality. Be the person you are. Let that person shine. Make sure the pictures of you. Now, if you work with dogs the way Leslie does, fine. Show us a dog here and there. But I've got a lot that are gray, or they don't have a picture, or it's of their logo. I don't actually give a rat's rump about your logo. I do care a whole lot about you as a human. What do you look like? Who are you? So those are the things that I talk about, not to hurt anybody, but to have them be aware. Go look at a bunch of profiles. Look at mine. See if anything resonates. Look at Gillian. See what resonates. Go look at Jeff's. See what you're grabbed by, because 850 million.
Yep.
We have to be out there with something to offer that makes other people go, wait, whoa, I got to look at this one.
Yes. And at the end of the day, it's not B2B. It's not B2C. It's P2P, people to people. So show up as a person on LinkedIn so that we can get to know, like, and trust you. So, okay. So we're heading to our 30 minutes. We've actually just passed. And so want to give us some kind of final words of wisdom, Susan, and then we'll end our show for today. So what's your final thoughts?
Final thought is, the world is getting smaller and smaller every day. And we are lucky enough to have found a way to reach that other end of it, to work with people, to get to know them, to see the world through their eyes, something I could not have imagined as a little girl in the 1950s. Take advantage of it, folks. LinkedIn works if you're willing to work it. Reach out to me, reach out to John or Jeff, reach out to Gillian. Let us help you, because I don't see it as competition. Other editors still do things I don't do. I'm happy to have collaborators.
Love that. Love that. Okay. Well, thank you very much for being on the show today, Susan. It was an honor to have you. It's an honor to know you. And I love calling you friend. I'm so grateful
you did. Thank you. I loved it.
Okay, super. All right. We'll see you guys all next week. Thanks for stopping by. Bye.